Draymond Green, the corner to Curry. Curry for three from the left corner with LeBron James right there. Curry with a signature shot here in Game 4. 102-74. Curry with 37. Down to 5 seconds. Down to 4. Bell across half court. The Warriors start to celebrate. The one-time darlings are now a dynasty. The Golden State Warriors have won back-to-back NBA championships, and they have won 3 of the last 4 NBA titles. Final score, Warriors 108 and Cleveland 85.
7:40 to go. Puck in front. Connolly with a chance. They score! They score! The puck on a rebound for Lars Eller. Eller gets the rebound and puts it home. And Washington leads it 4-3 with 7:37 to go. The Tiger pouncing at the moments that he can potentially be the hero. Get ready, Washington. It's been a team of destiny. All we need is a puck drop and release the Hounds. Eller for the draw. And as the puck drops, the words that DC fans have been waiting to hear since 1974, the Washington Capitals are the 2018 Stanley Cup champions. It's not a dream. It's not a desert mirage. It's Lord Stanley, and he is coming to Washington.
Justified comes roaring home to a raucous Belmont Park with 1 furlong to run. Gronkowski and Hofford trying to run him down. Vino Rosso is fourth, a 16th to go. Justify is still there. Justify from Gronkowski. He's just perfect, and now he's just immortal. Justify is the 13th Triple Crown winner.
Champions, my friends.
Running up the score. Jerry.
He just sucks.
He's not good.
let's just put it out on the table. He's not a good quarterback.
Oh, way to join a team that already won a title.
You know, Ben is unique. These guys are unique. They're championship runs. I mean, this one's unique.
Let's hope some people still get thrown at and, get hit in baseball.
Keep it interesting,
right?
Yeah.
I can't take this guy serious right now.
I dare you to watch it and tweet us. Tell us, oh, you know what? This is a hell of a sport.
Where's this been all my life?
The New York Jets need to, you know what they need to do with their second round pick? They need to just start taking it and lighting it up on fire.
Where's that quarter? Let me look at that one more time.
This is Running Up the Score. And it starts now.
All right, it's time to run up the score. Running up the score with Jerry Napoleonello running. Brought to you by Yell5 Sports App. We are live from both of our houses here. It's kind of exciting. It's a first to have this. I mean, this is the first time I've done this. I mean, I've done it another time, but it wasn't live. It wasn't anything. Now we're on 5 different websites, 6 different websites.
It's 2018. Come on.
Yeah,
Get with it.
It's exciting, I'm pumped up about this. We got a lot of stuff to talk about. I mean, it's been a while since both of us have been together. Since the first time that we were together. That was the first time that we were even in the studio together.
Yes, this
it was
is our
the first
second
time
show ever.
And it was the first time that we even met, too. That was the funny thing. Maybe not many people knew that, but yeah, it was the first time we met. And we're, I'm happy to have you back on the show. I'm happy in the whole setup that we got going on here. And it's the perfect time to have us both doing a show together because, I mean, we've had 2 champions since, in the last week. But
great sports day.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it was a great sports weekend. Then you had the Belmont Stakes, we had another Triple Crown winner that I'm going to bring up later on because I have a question that I want to ask about, what you think at least.
Okay.
But, like I said, it's an exciting time, not as exciting as Washington and Oakland right now. But, we have everything going on now, the Subway Series over the weekend. It's kind of a big time in sports in New York, especially Long Island, because, like I said, we had the Belmont Stakes. We got Shinnecock coming up soon next week. Actually, this week, starting Thursday. So we got that going on. It's a great time to be a sports fan. Maybe not so much Cavaliers fan though.
No, definitely not. I mean, but there's not even a small portion of me that's even remotely surprised by the end of this result. I mean, I had said a while ago, Warriors will beat the Cavaliers in 5. Yeah. They won in 4. Cavaliers should have won game 1, so I feel pretty close. I feel pretty good about my prediction, but everyone should have felt that way. It's sad. It was actually a pretty pitiful NBA Finals altogether.
Yeah, and I mean, before we even get into the finals, it's kind of like, I just wanted to see how everything was going on with you. I mean, like I said, it's been a few weeks.
Yeah, well, it's been crazy. I mean, I was doing some traveling. I was in Chicago last week for a conference for work and all that stuff, and I finally got to experience authentic deep dish pizza. And I don't know if you've ever had. Have you ever been to Chicago?
I have not been to Chicago yet. I would love to go. I want to see. I want to go to a Cubs game. I would love to go to Wrigley. That's definitely one of the stadiums on my bucket list.
Well, the irony is, the weekend I had to be there for work, the Mets were playing the Cubs just over here in New York.
Oh, of course.
So everywhere I went in Chicago, the Cubs sweeping the Mets was following me wherever I went. Yeah. But so the deep dish pizza, it's good and it's different. Like, you can't really go into it thinking, oh, this is going to be better or worse than New York. No, you just got to go in and just got to enjoy it. And I went to this place called Paisanos, where the dough they have is just so insanely thick, and they have a layer of cheese and the sauce is on top. And since the sauce is on top, the dough doesn't really get like saturated. The dough is like really crisp, almost like bread. Yeah, not really like saturated. So
you're kind of making me hungry now. Of course.
It was good. It was good. Let's just leave it at that.
Absolutely.
I was expecting like the pictures, with like cheese and everything like falling out. Like it's going to be a big mess. No, this particular deep dish pizza was big. It was like maybe like yay big, but you could still eat it with your hands. So there's no problem doing that.
Yeah, I mean that's definitely a place I would like to go. I'd like to go to Chicago. I mean, you hear the dreadful stories of just being in Chicago, really, just the area. But when you get I've heard when you're around Wrigley and over there,
I was in downtown Chicago. Yeah. I mean, obviously, people speak poorly about the South Side in some areas, but that's. I can't speak for that. I wasn't in that area.
Yeah, but I guess we'll get into the finals now. You started off a little bit on it, and as you said, the Golden State Warriors swept the Cleveland Cavaliers. Now, the one game that the Cavs had to win was game 1. Mm-hmm. And you weren't in studio with me last week. I got into it a little bit with that whole thing and everything that happened. And as I said, there was still overtime. That didn't end the game.
Right.
And that was the problem that you screwed up. You didn't get. I mean, there's no guarantee that J.R. Smith puts that back in. So the fact that you still go into overtime, I mean, you can't feel too bad for them. I mean, it was a messed up situation. How you're a player in the NBA Finals and you forget to score, that's
do you really believe that he forgot the score? Because according to him, he didn't.
Well, yeah, according to him. But then if you watch, mm-hmm. you can read his lips say, "I thought we were up." At the time.
But you can also read LeBron's lips later in this video I saw through Sports Illustrated that said that he thought they had no timeouts. So your star player didn't realize you still had a timeout. Your guy George Hill, who just needs to sink a free throw to win it, misses the free throw, and J.R. Smith assumes you're going to be calling a timeout, thinking A, you're ahead, or B, or maybe he thought you were ahead, or maybe he just thought that he shouldn't be taking the last shot. There's a number of scenarios. This is completely on Tyronn Lue if your entire team doesn't know the situation, though.
And it's not
right?
It's not even that. Like, Ty Lue has the authority to call a timeout. So
there you go. But
that point,
the fact that this team didn't even know the situation,
it was just
both LeBron and JR, not just JR. JR was really dumb. I agree.
Yeah.
But LeBron didn't know they had another timeout. That's a bad look.
It's a really bad look, and that was a game that they had to win. I mean, they had that game in hand. The other games, they were up in the first half. Second halves were a totally different story, and that's basically been the narrative this whole playoffs with the Warriors. They're down early. Third quarter has been their quarter all playoffs, and they end up blowing out a team or whatever it was. The last game, though, now this is where I had a problem. LeBron quit. I mean, I'm just going to come out and say it. LeBron quit. He quit on his team. The whole team basically quit, but it just I don't think he quit. It was hard.
I don't see how you're making that judgment.
I mean, you could see it just on everything. And then the other thing that pissed me off was, the whole thing with his hand. He supposedly breaks his hand after game 1. But why?
No, he didn't.
Why all of a sudden now you whip out the cast after you get swept?
Yeah, it's more about me, more about look at all I did for my team, and I couldn't have possibly done anything else. It's a lack of accountability, and
he had that narrative.
Definitely
already.
Not a broken hand. I'm sorry, it's just not. Maybe it hurts a little, but it's not a broken hand.
I mean, he had that narrative of, oh, poor LeBron, his team's bad, this and that. Like, he had that narrative already. But then he goes into the press conference after Game 4 with the cast on his hand, and then that comes out. Listen, if you want to come out with an excuse for the hand, come out after Game 1 when you did it. Do that, every game since then. I mean, the fact that what are you going to do? If they would have won, would he have had that cast on his hand?
No, definitely not. And he clearly didn't learn from Amari Stoudemire either.
No.
When, funny enough, he was playing him, and he actually really did hurt his hand smashing a fire extinguisher.
Yeah, not smart.
But
that goes hand in hand with the segment that we had last time we were in the studio together.
Right?
The
we
dumb
talked
injuries.
About that. But LeBron, this is the thing that annoys people about him, and in particular, obviously, whenever you have somebody under a microscope with the amount of attention that he gets everywhere he goes, everything he does, everything he says, it becomes a little ridiculous, the amount of opinions swirling around him for every little thing.
Oh yeah.
But these particular instances where he pretends to be hurt, where he takes forever to get up, where he clearly has this whole egocentric sense of the stage, and he's so concerned about how he's portrayed.
Yeah,
that's what bothers people.
Absolutely.
You can't just be yourself. You can't just not haven't you done enough at this point of your career to say, listen, I'm in the finals every year, this team was unbelievable, our guys fell short. And look, LeBron had no help. Anybody with eyes could have seen that.
Absolutely.
I don't think he quit. I think the entire team pretty much screwed up all around him, and he played great. That's abundantly clear.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I understand that. I get that. It's just, for someone that's in the whole MJ versus LeBron type narrative.
Why?
And
why do we even have to go here? Why does everybody feel like they have to go here with that ridiculous discussion? And I'm not saying it's ridiculous because I think this guy's definitely better or this guy's definitely worse. I think it's just something you can't ever prove. So if we can't ever prove it, why are we spinning our heads constantly to try and argue it?
Yeah.
LeBron could win 10 championships. There still will be people that say Michael Jordan was better because the era was different.
Yeah.
LeBron could go to the finals every year and continue to lose, and they'll say, oh, he's not good enough because he can't get it done, when it's actually really hard to go to the finals that many years in a row. So people just don't see the whole picture, and they're not going to be objective. So I can't even get wired about that kind of discussion. That to me is not a sports discussion. That to me is just a silly thing to talk about.
He's 3-6 in the finals, so that doesn't help him, and that just kind of fuels.
What does that have to do with him? This is a team game we're talking about.
Oh, absolutely, I know that. But, the thing is, losing in the finals again, this is his 6th time losing in the finals. Does that do anything to his legacy? To me, I think it does a little bit. I think, we know what his ability is. There's no question about that. He's one of the most athletic, one of the greatest, players to play in the NBA. When we talk about players as an individual, it's always rings. It's always rings.
But that doesn't make any sense because a ring is not a measurement of an individual. It's a measurement of a team.
Absolutely. And I understand that. And I
right.
I have.
So why can't we be better, Jerry? Why do we have to take this bait, this trap?
No, I know.
And everybody does.
Like I said, I just want to kind of get into his legacy and if this tarnishes his legacy a little bit. Obviously you don't feel as though that this.
No, I don't. To me, it's like Tom Brady lost a Super Bowl. Big deal.
Yeah.
Like he's still one of the best quarterbacks to ever play.
Oh, absolutely. So now, obviously, we could go to the other side of it now. And with Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant, as we spoke about this kind of off the air a little bit yesterday, and we just basically said, with him, being on this team for 2 years now, he's won 2 MVPs. He's won... 2 finals since being with the Warriors in the 2 years that he's been with the Warriors. You asked the question, can he win, can he win somewhere else?
Right.
I think he's that type of player. I don't think he's that leader type of player. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think he's that player that can lead a team. I guess.
Well, obviously, he couldn't do it with OKC.
No.
But I see what you're asking. Like, if it was a different fit, like if it was a better fit, and it wasn't this insanely stacked team, could he potentially win the title? I'd say maybe. Yeah. It all depends on the chemistry.
And that's the other thing. Like, watching these two go at it against each other, LeBron, Kevin Durant, and you look at these guys are 2 totally different players. Don't get me wrong. They're 2 totally different players. Who's the harder cover? And to me, you might think I'm out of my mind, but I think Kevin Durant is the harder cover.
No, you talked about this on our last show, about how you even felt that Kevin Durant might even be a better basketball player. I don't agree that one is a harder cover than the other. I think they're both extremely difficult. LeBron, you have to worry about a 265-pound freight train attacking the lane, where if you so much as breathe on him, he is fouled.
Yeah.
Where in the case of Kevin Durant, you got to worry about a guy that can hoist up a shot from any angle at any time, and also cross you over, break your ankles, and dish it to somebody else who's just as deadly to shoot a 3 at any time. So they're both. Arguably, because Golden State's a better team, maybe I could see your point that Durant's a tougher cover. But one-on-one, in general, don't let him get to the rack. LeBron, no question, is harder.
Oh, yeah. And, to me, like you said LeBron, I say Durant, just in the fact of, with LeBron, like you said, he's a 265-pound, 6'11" player who is faster than anybody on the court. And he can get to the rack whenever he wants. To me, if you stop him from doing that, whether you double him or whatever, and you have him hoist up shots, I feel like you won in a defensive matchup. If he makes a shot or not, I think you won by holding him to a
away
shot.
His strength,
Yeah. To me, with Kevin Durant, I mean, first of all, you can put a center on him and he can shoot over him. Because, I mean, his wingspan is what? I think of a 7'10" or whatever it is. I think him, and I mean, he is one of the best shooters, if not the best shooter in the league right now. And then you kind of add it to, as a defensive player, it's like, all right, well, I got to watch this guy taking a shot, so I'm going to play up on him. But then he's also got the speed to get past you and get to the rack. And that's why I feel like he's the harder cover, because he doesn't really have a weakness in that part. LeBron's obvious weakness is shooting. We know that. He's gotten better as his career has gone on. He's gotten a lot better, to be honest with you, at shooting, but I still think that's a weakness for him.
No, I mean, I in terms of X's and O's and how you're breaking it down, yeah, it makes a lot of sense. But the sheer strength that LeBron has, the fact that he can body you at any time, the fact that he can post you consistently. I mean, I think Kevin Durant's a tougher cover when it comes to a jump shot, absolutely.
Yeah.
But LeBron, all around, at all areas of the court, is a tougher cover because he can body you pretty much anywhere. If you spread the floor, he can go past you, and he is still a pretty good pull-up shooter. I know it's obviously more on his weakness, but like he's probably less of a better pull-up shooter than Kevin Durant. But I mean, come on. I mean, at the end of the day, we're talking about two guys that are really impossible to cover.
Yeah. Should Kevin Durant have won the MVP?
The Finals MVP? I don't see why not. Steph Curry, if he had a better Game 4, might have had an argument, but he didn't have a good enough Game 4.
He had a good enough Game 4. His Game 3 was horrendous.
Maybe that's the one.
Yeah, he had 11 points in Game 3. Game 4, I think he had 37.
Yeah, then you're definitely right.
So yeah, and that's, you know what? The reason I feel like Kevin Durant won the MVP was because of being more consistent. And his bad game was Game 1, but he still put up, I think, 26 points. So, you know, when you're looking at it that way, yeah, I think Kevin Durant could have won, should have, won, and he obviously did. But, would you have put in, like, LeBron in that conversation of MVP?
Well, if the Cavs won, of course it's LeBron James.
No, but I'm saying if, just the way he played, if they were, because, I mean, obviously it's been given to a losing player. It happened with Jerry West.
Yeah, but no one really does it anymore.
No,
last
not
time
at all.
That even happened.
It was Jerry West back in probably the 60s, I guess. So, you could have, like, he was in the conversation. I think if they would have won maybe one or two games, I would have said, yeah, maybe, you throw him up there. But, but how much does them getting swept kind of land on LeBron's shoulders?
I'd say very little.
Yeah.
But I also don't think he deserves a Finals MVP.
No.
Even if he probably was the best player on the court. Yeah. Like I don't think a losing team should ever have the Finals MVP on their team, even if they are one of the better players, or in this case the best player. I think it's silly. I know what you mentioned about Jerry West is true, but the fact that it's been that long means that, I mean, I don't think the NBA would even have the courage to do that. Like let's say LeBron James was out of this world. Like that one. What is that one game he had in the 50-something points? Let's say he did that every game, unguardable, untouchable, and they still got swept. And Kevin Durant was solid, 23, 25 each night. I still think Kevin Durant should get the Finals MVP because the NBA wouldn't be able to, the amount of garbage reaction or just media crap storm that you would possibly get for giving LeBron James an MVP. The NBA wouldn't want it. The publicity wouldn't be good.
No. Now, I mean, I don't want to go back to it, but I just want to play this clip. Charles Barkley had something to say about the whole MJ and LeBron talk and conversation, debate, whatever you want to call it, but he doesn't feel as though anymore.
Any media person that I see in person for the rest of my life who try to tell me LeBron James is good as Michael Jordan, I'm just going to slap the hell out of him right on the spot. Right on the damn spot. No question asked. The next person who walks up to me and say, LeBron James, who is amazing, as good as Michael Jordan or competes like Michael Jordan, I'm just going to slap the hell out of you right on the spot. And I'm going to take my chances with the judicial system.
So, I mean, that's...
Obviously, Charles Barkley's being Charles Barkley, but he's...
100% wrong. Right.
I don't think he's 100% right. No, I really don't. Like, I really think that he obviously, like everyone else that's played, has an ego.
Yeah.
He wants to think that his time in which he played, everyone was the best and it was never even comparable. And personality-wise, if you're going to say competes, different, like Michael Jordan maybe was less of a whiner, like no doubt about that, and more intense, no doubt about that.
Yeah.
But to say that one or the other definitely couldn't compete against the other in either era it's just obviously wrong.
To me, like when it comes to I think if it came out of somebody else. Now Charles Barkley never won a finals. And also on that panel was Grant Hill, who also spoke, about this and said that you really can't talk about it anymore. He's never won a finals. And when it comes to Grant Hill, I mean, he was supposed to be the next Michael Jordan. I mean, he was supposed to be Michael Jordan. But his NBA career just, was riddled by injuries. And he never really got to that point where everybody, thought he would. But those might not be the guys that you kind of ask when it comes to rings and, debate on the greatest of all time. They probably aren't the best to talk to. Maybe you should talk to a guy like Michael Jordan, or maybe talk to a guy like, Bill Russell, who's got 11, and nobody even talks about Bill Russell, in this conversation. He's got 11. And then, talk to Kobe. Kobe's got 5. That's... And I read Bleacher Report asked, these kind of questions to, I think it was like Vince Carter, Grant Hill, Jalen Rose, Kobe Bryant. And Kobe Bryant, there was one question that kind of made me, giggle a little bit or laugh a little bit. Obviously me being a Lakers fan, everybody knows I love Kobe. I just thought it was funny because the question was, it's such a great feat that LeBron got to whatever it was. It's 9 finals in a row. That
eight in a row, 9 total, I think.
Yeah. So they were saying, that's never been done since the '60s with the Celtics. Does that hold any water when when you're talking about a legacy? And his answer was funny, was short, sweet, and he just said, "You know who I am. You know how I think. Don't ask me that question again." Just basically saying he's all about rings, doesn't matter anything, and that's...
I think that's a really... I know Kobe's your guy, but I don't understand why he's got to be such a jerk. That's an obvious question. Why can't he just give an answer? You know who I am? Well, we're not asking about you. There's nothing to do with you.
Now, the other funny thing is, I didn't have you in studio when it did happen, but I think it was after... It was one of the games, and LeBron, had a big game or something like that, and Kobe tweeted out something and was like, why are we gonna, basically your argument, why are we going to, debate something that we can't definitively end, with an answer? He's like,
right.
It was kind of and I know how Kobe is, and it was just kind of like a jab a little bit.
Kobe's saying that, why am I not brought up in this conversation? It's just, again, it's another guy with another ego, wanting attention. Same thing with Charles Barkley with that crap. He just wants attention. Yeah. All these guys are such babies. It really ticks me off, all of it. Now, this is why my favorite player is never somebody like LeBron James or Kobe Bryant or Michael Jordan. I like the guy that's like Louis Amundsen, that's barely on the Knicks roster, that has to give 125% just to make the team.
Yeah.
I like Louis Amundsen more than I like Michael Jordan or LeBron James. Put it out there. Because this guy actually has to give it his all just to even be in the NBA.
Well,
Lance Thomas, a guy like that, who can't score at all, but has to go 110% to maybe get 4 points.
Well, to another guy that gives it 110% his whole career, I think it's 15 years now, Alex Ovechkin.
Right.
I think he deserved this cup more than anybody. And, I mean, what he's doing since winning the Cup is hilarious. I don't know if you've seen any of the videos. I mean, they're great. They're hilarious. I mean, I tweeted out the other day that he's like the Gronkowski of the NHL. I mean, just what he's doing, doing keg stands on the Stanley Cup, sleeping with the Stanley Cup. It's hilarious. It's great. I'm happy for him. I thought it was great that Golden Knights got there. It's an amazing situation when it comes to Vegas being an expansion team, and then all of a sudden 501 odds.
I was surprised the Capitals could win in 5 games. I thought that was surprising to a lot of people.
Yeah, well, once they get to 3-1, they crumble. But they stepped it up. Alex Ovechkin had a hell of a playoffs. I mean, hell of a playoffs. He wanted this more than anybody. He deserved it more than anybody. I'm happy that he got his cup because, it would have sucked. Beating the one guy that you could not beat in Sidney Crosby and then losing in the Cup finals. I'm happy that he won. Maybe the conference finals trophy superstition came into play here with the Golden Knights touching the trophy after they won the conference finals. But
it's bananas. Like, how did that? You mentioned that. I didn't know about this. What happened?
Now, you know of the superstition though, right?
Of course, yeah, that's obvious. Yeah. You don't touch the Stanley Cup unless you've won the Stanley Cup.
So Dave Englund. I think it's Dave Englund of the Golden Knights. Mm-hmm. He's captain. They win the conference finals. Trophy sitting there. Usually, captain goes up, shakes the hand, but never touches the trophy, and they just kind of leave it. They walk away, skate away, whatever. This time, the Golden Knights, Dave Englund, touched the cup first before they even took the picture. So right there, and the funniest thing of it...
Why? Why did he do that?
I don't know. I guess he was just trying to be like, it's a superstition, who cares? Let's get over it. But the funniest thing of this whole thing is the crowd gives once he touched it, it was hilarious. Because you hear, he touches it, and all of a sudden you hear the crowd go, oh. And then he picks it up and starts to skate around the ice like it was the Stanley Cup, and the crowd gives another louder groan,
why would he do this?
What are you doing?
Would this man do this?
And
that's terrible. I can't believe I didn't miss this. Maybe it's because it's at Vegas time. It's 3 in the morning when this stuff's happening.
Oh, I know.
But Jesus, why in God's name would you do this?
I was
it's like saying, let's throw a no hitter. When you're 8 innings into it.
Yeah, right.
You don't do that. You just don't do that.
So I mean, maybe that's coming into play here. But I wanted to hear what you had to think, what you had to say about the Washington Capitals winning the Cup.
Well, I never really liked the Capitals as an Islander fan, and I always watching them beat us in the playoffs once. I want to say 2006 was the last time the Islanders faced the Capitals in the playoffs or something. One of those mid to early 2000s.
I think it was even recent. It was more recently. I think it was when we first kind of got back into the playoffs, I want to say, and we lost in 7, I believe.
Yeah, that was the more recent one, but I think they had another one.
We used to get killed by the Capitals.
Right, exactly. So, yeah, in the Capitals series, that went to 7 games. That's right. That was when the Islanders should have had home ice, but they didn't because they screwed up that game. Long story that I don't really feel like digressing into. I never really liked the Capitals because when you lose to Alex Ovechkin and the Capitals, you got to deal with that boisterous celebration, that just fire that burns inside of you. So losing to them hurts. But what was good for Ovechkin and the NHL was, one, it's pretty cool the way he just lives his life as who he is and does not really care what you think about him. And he's going to play hard, 100%, and he's going to party and he's going to smile while he's doing all of it.
Yeah.
So I think everyone in our lives knows someone like Alex Ovechkin.
Yeah.
And everyone always gets along with him. But the bigger thing is this guy was loyal. This guy stayed where he was supposed to be. This guy could have easily, at one point of free agency, said, I'm going to go be a Penguin and just go win a Stanley Cup. He could have pulled a Kevin Durant.
Yeah.
It's just a good example of poetic justice of karma, of a guy who deserves it more than anything, getting what he deserves, and a team that deserves it, really.
Yeah, absolutely, and I 110% agree with it. Now, we went from like the superstition here. There's another thing that happened that, obviously made it throughout Twitter. Everybody saw it. The woman that flashed the Capitals. Did you see that?
Yes.
I mean, I think it's hilarious because TV is on a delay. The fact that they didn't catch this as they were going around the ice, I mean, is hilarious. Now the video's everywhere.
Yep. Once Barstool Sports got a hold of it, it's over.
Absolutely. I thought it was hilarious. I was wondering if you saw it. I think the funnier part of that was that all the Capitals players, once Ovechkin kind of passed her, he didn't notice it. And all the Capital players are looking at the cup, Ovechkin holding it up, blah, blah, blah. Then all of a sudden, I think Kuznetsov was the first one to spot her. And he turns to her and he just starts clapping. And then all of a sudden, all the rest of the players are pointing at her, everything. I thought it was hilarious. That's stuff, that's sports needs, I guess you could say. Yes. Stupid stuff like that, gets and especially with hockey. Hockey and baseball are those sports that kind of take the back burner when it comes to fans watching, I guess you could say.
They're not as massively consumed.
Yeah.
I mean, the people that follow them are usually big fans.
Yeah.
It's not like, I'm kind of into sports. Let's see what's going on in the Stanley Cup thing. That's a pretty rare instance.
Yeah.
Even though I heard the ratings were better.
Yeah, they were. And, I'm happy for it because I love hockey, and especially playoff hockey. And game 5 in this Stanley Cup Finals was amazing. I thought it was a great game. But we're going to take a break, a quick break. We'll get into Yankees, Mets, potentially trade partners. We'll see. Other things with the Mets. We'll get into our new segment, Where They Got It Wrong. And some more stuff.
Some more stuff.
Yeah.
Sounds very enticing.
Yeah, maybe some boneheaded plays in sports. Maybe Summer of LeBron. We'll talk about that when we get back on Running Up the Score.
All Noise Radio, powered by the Connecticut School of Broadcasting. All Noise Radio is an internet radio station that's fully produced by graduates of the Connecticut School of Broadcasting. From modern rock to old school hip hop, country to classical, news, talk, sports, and more. It's the noise you can't ignore. Log on to allnoiseradio.com. Fire up the station. Find out more about your favorite jocks. Get the latest CSB news and more. Plus, you can take All Noise Radio with you on the go for free. Just download the Live 365 app to your iPhone, iPod Touch, or BlackBerry and search All Noise Radio. Check out tomorrow's broadcasters today at allnoiseradio.com. Powered by the Connecticut School of Broadcasting.
Hey, this is Jerry Napoleonello, host of Running Up the Score. We are live once every week at 7 p.m. Eastern, where we hit on all the top headlines in the world of sports. You can also find us on Stitcher, iTunes, and those of you that like the visual aspect, check us out on YouTube. Running Up the Score. We run up the score on Sports Radio.
Cyberstation USA is the future of radio. Get your business into the online future at the world's largest internet radio station. From banner placement on our homepage to any of our broadcaster stations, commercials on our video player, audio spots on any of our shows, or at the beginning of any of our on-demand broadcasts. Cyberstation USA offers competitive rates with a worldwide reach, a fully integrated one-stop shop social media broadcast platform. For more information, please contact our sales department at Cameo at cyberstationusa.com.
We used to have it all, but now's our curtain call. So hold for the applause. Oh, 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 oh. And wave out to the crowd and take our final bow. Oh, it's our time to go, but at least we stole the show. At least we stole the show.
All right, first call in at 605-562-7085, but actually you can't right now, so too bad.
Now back to Running Up the Score. Here's Jerry.
So you could tweet us at RUTS Sports for everybody that's watching on Twitch, Periscope, YouTube. What else are we on? Mixer and Smashcast. First time that we're on all of those, other than Periscope. I mean, we're finally doing it live on those websites. So I wanted to get into a bunch of things. Yankees and Mets are definitely a topic I want to get into, but we were talking about LeBron a little bit before. Let's talk about the summer of LeBron. It is finally the summer. We have a bunch of teams that, are going after him, that are gonna want, basically to sign him and maybe somebody else. And I know the Lakers can do that. The Lakers can have...
a lot of teams can do it.
Yes.
It really doesn't matter what they want. It's what LeBron wants.
Yeah, and, the other thing is, it's just coming out that his son is attending a California high school. Mm-hmm. So that's also a, all right, well, now you're looking at the Clippers, you're looking at the Lakers. I don't think he would go to the Clippers. Every betting website has the odds on this, obviously, and the odds are basically the Lakers are number 1. You have the Cavs up there, but they're about number 3 or so. The Rockets are up there as well. Maybe a return to the Heat. There's different ways that he can go. I don't really know where. I have a feeling it's going to be the Lakers. To be honest with you, to be totally honest with you, I think it's going to be the Lakers. I wanted to know what your opinion or what team you think he's going to go.
I think he's going to the Sixers. I think this guy cares more than anybody that I've ever seen in sports about his reputation. He wants to be universally loved.
Oh yeah.
And he initially went to Miami because he felt in order to have true appreciation from the fans, he needed championships. That backfired tremendously.
Yeah.
So that's why he went back to Cleveland, was able to win one there. But the struggle of him losing all these championships is killing him.
Yeah.
Killing him. So he needs to win as soon as possible. And in order for him to do that, he needs to take the easiest path to the finals. And the easiest path to the finals is obviously if you stay in the Eastern Conference. Arguably, the easiest path to the finals is if you join the Celtics, but we know he's not going to do that because of everything going on with Kyrie Irving or everything that went on with Kyrie Irving. It's just very unlikely.
Yeah. Unless,
of course, Kyrie Irving leaves Boston in some crazy scenario, but that's like a trade or something. But that's very unlikely.
Yeah.
So I think he's going to the 76ers because he's not staying in Cleveland. I think Cleveland's probably like the second most I think number 1 is 76ers in my opinion. Number 2 is Cleveland if he's able to recruit a lot of people to come to play there.
Yeah, I when it comes to Houston, I think Houston will have a few money problems, especially with Chris Paul, if they were to bring in LeBron. And I think he's past that, taking a pay cut type. I think he.
Well, I don't know. I think he's ready to win. I think he might take less money. He's gotten paid a lot of money.
Well, yeah, he's got $1 billion Nike.
Play basketball. He doesn't have to make money playing basketball anymore. He can do anything else.
Yeah, but I feel like I don't know. I don't think. I guess it would work with the Rockets, but. I don't know with Harden.
But then he'd be viewed as like Kevin Durant.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Philly, it's not nearly like that because it's expected that he's going to leave Cleveland. I don't even think Cleveland fans are going to be nearly as upset this time around if he does.
No,
leave.
I don't think so either.
He got them their ring. He came back. He kind of made amends.
Yeah.
And if he goes to Philly, an up and rising team with a lot of young talent, he puts them over the edge to the point where they're probably a favorite to at least go to the finals.
Yeah. I mean, when it comes to Philly now. Philly with Ben Simmons plays the same way as LeBron, and no way in hell am I saying that he's, just as good as LeBron. He's not, and we all know that. But they play the same kind of basketball that I think it would end up being a problem. So to me, I feel like.
Problem.
But I mean, look at the start that the Heat had. they had a problem.
That's not a problem. They made the finals.
Well,
it was a minor bump. It was an insignificant speck of an issue.
This is also a younger team that I don't think they're ready yet, and I don't think he's going to want to get to that point. But that also kind of goes with the argument with the Lakers. They're a young team. It all depends. I mean, it all depends, I think, on who he can bring in with him. And Paul George is obviously the big name. We have other names in free agency as well. When it comes to, free agency, you got Chris Paul, Paul George, DeMarcus Cousins, Dwayne Wade. Those are just to name a few. To me, it's up in the air, and it's going to be interesting. I think the fact that he's towards the end of his career, I guess you could say, maybe, who knows?
Can I ask you something? Is Paul George really that good?
I think he's a top 15.
Top 15? I don't know. I don't think so. I mean, career guy gets 21 points a game, but he only gets 3 assists a night. 5 really rebounds. I mean, look, the guy can score. That's pretty good, but he's probably top 15 scorer, but top 15 all around.
Well,
I mean, what's he done?
When you're really looking at, first of all, you look at the teams that he was on. He's not that facilitator type player, so he's not going to kind of really carry a team. The only time he'll carry a team is if he's scoring 40, 50 points in a game, and he hasn't really. He didn't really do that with the Pacers. He didn't have to do it with the Thunder. Although he did do it a few times. I think when you look at the Lakers, they add Paul George and they add LeBron. Do I want to see LeBron come to the Lakers? Not really. You may think I'm crazy. I know we spoke about it. We spoke. Yeah. Get over yourself. Yeah. So they eventually, I feel like they'll get both of them. I think it works out better with Paul George because Paul George is not that facilitator. You have that facilitator in LeBron. You have it in Lonzo Ball as well. You have a young, strong power forward in Julius Randle. I don't know what they're going to do with the center position because it doesn't look like Brook Lopez will be back with the Lakers. But you have Kyle Kuzma, who's really come out of nowhere. Nobody really knew him until a couple of months into the season. So I think the Lakers are a flashy team, and it's also that aura of the Los Angeles Lakers. That's if he brings a title to the Lakers, what it's going to do to that, that L word that we talk about all the time is legacy. What that will do to his legacy, bringing a championship to Los Angeles for the Lakers, I think it would be huge for him.
I think he'd like to go somewhere where he really wouldn't have to worry about Kobe fans or that sort of legacy. His legacy is more important to him than anything else.
Oh, absolutely.
And he goes there. He's got to deal with the awkwardness of Kobe fans and people that never really liked him and people like you, really, that he would have to win over.
Yeah.
And if he falls short, it's like, oh, this guy's not Kobe.
Yeah.
Whereas he goes to 76ers, are we going to compare him to Dr. J? It's been too long. Like, it's not, he's no Dr. J. No, that wouldn't happen. That wouldn't happen. Most of the people watching Sixers games probably wouldn't even be old enough to have remembered Dr. J.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
It's to me, that's the safest thing for him to do.
Absolutely. And you know what? I understand what you're talking about with the whole Kobe fans because I've heard that argument before. And yeah, I'm a perfect example of that.
Would he go to the Chicago Bulls if they had a great team? He would never do it.
Absolutely not. Absolutely.
Exactly. It's the same thing.
So it's definitely it's going to be interesting. It's going to be the talk of the summer, obviously. That's why we're calling it the summer of LeBron. And I guarantee this is not going to be the first time that we're talking, the only time that we're talking about it. It's going to be almost an every week thing. We might as well do.
As long as he doesn't make a television show this time, it'll be fine.
We might as well make a segment out of it, LeBron Watch or whatever. But
brought to you by whatever. There'll be so much money you can make just by that.
We do have a partnership that we will announce when it's fully through. I'm not going to announce it now, but it's going to be, definitely keep an eye out for it. It's in the works, and I'm hoping for next week's show. So we'll talk about Yankees-Mets now. Now, they did end up playing each other over the weekend. Subway Series, it's not the same as it used to be. They used to play 6 times or whatever it is. I don't think they play 6 times anymore, right? Or is it this year?
I think they still do.
Whatever. I think last year they played each other 4 times. There was 2 at home, 2 away, whatever it was.
Yeah, it was weird last year.
So the Yankees and the Mets are on 2 different atmospheres or 2 different planets,
galaxies, planets,
whatever, however you want to talk about. The Yankees
realities.
The Yankees have the best record in the league. The Mets don't, and they're not even close. And injuries have been a problem this year for the Mets. Not to to be honest with you, they're pitching over the last 8 or 9 games. I think their ERA is below 2.3. So it's not their pitching that's the problem right now. It's the hitting, and their bullpen is a little shaky as well.
Listen,
their
Jerry,
bullpen's really bad.
Going into Sunday night's game, over the 77 innings, the Mets had 3 runs.
Yeah.
3.
Yeah.
In 77 innings, and they only scored 2 on Sunday. So do the math. That's 86. 5 runs in 86 innings.
Yeah.
That's abysmal.
It's bad.
And it has nothing to do with the players. That's what bothers me. It has nothing to do with the roster. It has nothing to do with the manager. It has nothing to do with the medical staff. Everybody always running around looking, point fingers. No, there's something psychologically and publicly wrong with how the Mets go about their business and their attitude and their desire to win, and everything they say and do is wrong. Everything. Take Jose Reyes, for example. Yeah. Jose Reyes is 3rd all-time in hits for the Mets. 3rd all-time. He won a batting title, and they chose not to re-sign him. They only brought him back last year because he committed a crime, and it would have been a cheap asset.
Yeah,
that's the truth.
Absolutely.
So they bring him back, and the guy actually is solid. He's okay. He kind of remembers who he is because the Mets brought him up as a kid. So they decide to bring him back this year, and it's a huge mistake.
Yeah.
The guy plays terribly, and the Mets, instead of saying, well, we were wrong, let's cut him, they say, you know what, Jose, you should retire.
Yeah.
We'd like you to retire. You know why? Because if he retires, they don't have to pay him the $2 million that he's owed.
Yeah.
So why don't you man up, either bench him or cut him or send him down, do any of the things that you should be doing, and just flat out say, look, Jose means a lot to our history. He's 3rd all-time in hits, but we're sorry, he's just not getting it done. No Mets fan would argue with that.
Absolutely not.
But they are so they obsess over how they're viewed in the public eye that they end up doing insanely stupid things.
Yeah.
Insanely stupid things.
They just released Adrian Gonzalez today.
Stupid.
That's another thing.
It doesn't make any sense to me. I know he's batting .237, but in fairness, Dominic Smith, who knows what he's going to be. Adrian Gonzalez is a Gold Glove first baseman, by far the best first baseman we have at the position.
Yeah.
And he's had some clutch hits. He had 26 RBIs. Look, the guy's numbers aren't off the charts, but they're paying him next to nothing.
Yeah.
Why is he released? There are tons of players.
When I saw that, I didn't.
So much worse. Jay Bruce is doing so much worse. And because they gave him big money, there's no problem there. No.
Exactly. And now they're talking about maybe sending down Conforto. That's another, issue with that. The Mets, they, like I even said last week, they had a fire at Citi Field. Like they're a dumpster fire, and then the fire actually spread to the field. And it's just, so now, everybody obviously, like you were saying, that kind of talking about rebuilding now, and they're talking about
they really can't
trading players, and the only players that you could get something back for are your top-notch pitchers. It's Noah Syndergaard, it's Jacob deGrom, both who are having pretty good seasons. I mean, Jacob deGrom's having a really great season, great season. So obviously The Mets' strength is their starting pitching. The Yankees' weakness is their starting pitching. So obviously,
let me just stop you right there. Let me just say that will never happen. It won't happen.
I don't think so either.
It's not to say that it doesn't. What you're saying doesn't make sense. It's not to say that the Yankees have a ton of prospects, the Mets need prospects, and the Yankees need starting pitching. That's everyone on earth that follows baseball is aware of that scenario.
Absolutely.
The problem is there's not one person. There's two issues, really. One, there's not one person on the Mets who has the stones to make a trade with the Yankees at any time for anybody, ever, because they are scared of how it will look. Okay, number one, on the off chance it doesn't work, because they're tired of just being. They try so hard to be like the Yankees, and yet they're never anything even close to the Yankees. Like how they handle the retired players, or how they handle past players. They think that we should hold these people to the highest standard, and only the sweethearts really get retired. Well, as a result, Mike Piazza's number being retired is the only one that I've witnessed in my lifetime. And they're waiting to retire David Wright, even though the guy hasn't played in God knows how long.
He's another guy that should just retire.
Well, but they're not rushing him out the door. No. Why? Because he's a sweetheart with the Wilpons. It's not even. There's no other reason.
Yeah.
But I'm digressing a little bit. But the point I'm trying to, and the other reason is, you just don't do it.
Yeah.
If you got one good thing. One thing that actually keeps fans coming to your ballpark, one thing the fans can say, at least DeGrom is pitching tonight, and that guy's a man. You don't get rid of him. You just don't do it. The Mets. This is the team that traded Tom Seaver.
Yeah.
Okay, and it still kills older fans that they traded Tom Seaver. Tom Seaver never got a no-hitter with the Mets, and he didn't win his 300th game with the Mets, and yet his number's retired by the Mets. So it's like, it doesn't make any sense.
I mean, they have a retired number of a guy that didn't even wear the uniform. So, they have a whole shrine, I guess you could say, for a player.
Well, Jackie Robinson, I can live with that. Everybody's got Jackie Robinson's number retired.
They got their number retired, but they have a whole shrine of Jackie Robinson.
Well, that's the history. The history is supposed to be for Brooklyn Dodgers and New York Giants baseball fans. That's why the Mets were orange and blue. That I can actually understand. That makes sense. Fans that like this team are supposed to be descendants of witnesses to Jackie Robinson. It makes total sense. That makes sense to me, but not the fact that we don't have anyone from 1986 honored in any capacity.
Yeah, it's funny because they were talking about the whole trade. Obviously, Jacob deGrom going to the Yankees, and the trade. Obviously, the Mets obviously don't want to do it, but they're saying, oh, you know what, we can do it. We'll take Gleyber Torres, Miguel Andujar, we'll take Chance Adams, Justice Sheffield, we'll take Clint Frazier. There's no way. Those are the top prospects, and two of which are playing unbelievably for the Yankees right now. There's no way the Yankees trade that for Jacob deGrom.
Yankees, come on. Let me ask you something. If you're the Yankees right now, okay, why would you do anything? Why would you? What's there to fix? What's broken with this team? Oh, they need a starting pitcher to win a World Series. Oh, they need one more. How bad are these pitchers? What am I missing? You still have Masahiro Tanaka and Luis Severino.
Well, Tanaka
still have a great bullpen.
Just messed up both his hamstrings, tagging up on third. Which that's another argument for next week.
City Field, I guess. The guy just came here and it's just bad dirt. I don't know.
We are definitely going to argue that next week, because I know you're a National League fan, so you're probably all about that. We are definitely going to talk about that next week, because we're running out of time. Mm-hmm. I think the Yankees need a starting pitcher. They need one, and they need a relief pitcher. Their bullpen is not what they expected this year. It's not pitching as well. I don't know what Aaron Boone's doing. He's got to understand that Dellin Betances cannot pitch 2 innings. That's got to stop. But the biggest problem with the Yankees is their starting pitching. I understand that they're scoring 6-7 games. Yeah, they're scoring 6-7 runs a game. I understand that. And when it comes to starting pitching, yeah, you have Luis Severino, who's probably going to be the Cy Young of the American League. I understand that too. But when you start to get past that, now you're talking about Jordan Montgomery, who's going to have Tommy John surgery, so he probably won't be back until 2020. Shohei Ohtani too. They're talking about him going for Tommy John surgery. There was just a notification that came up that's saying that they're optimistic that he can come back and play, but who knows?
I mean, like when? Like this year, you mean?
Yeah, that's what. They're saying coming back this year.
Oh,
so
okay.
I don't know. So, but let's get into our final segment here. It's the first time that we're having it. I'm kind of interested to see how this goes. I'm hoping to bring this back every week because there are some dumb things that we hear in sports media, and we'll start off with you because it kind of goes hand in hand with what we were just talking about.
What bothers me is, I listen to the K Show a lot, and I'm a fan of the show. I should make that clear.
Yeah.
But there are two instances that just frustrated me. One was when LeBron made it back to the finals, and everyone was talking. The second he made it back to the finals, it was like, boom, LeBron, MJ. That's what we're on everywhere. And they would say that, oh, well, you know what, you can't really have this argument, blah, blah, blah. Like, they would say kind of the same thing I did. And then they would just take calls about it and actually have the argument.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't make any sense. You're contradicting yourself just by having the discussion. I remember they were going on and on about, oh, LeBron would beat MJ one-on-one. What, are you kidding me? The guy's stronger. He'd go right through him. How is MJ supposed to guard him? And then the speed, that was what Peter was saying. And then Michael was saying, oh, the speed, blah, blah, blah. They were actually arguing about it. And I was like, this is so hypocritical to your initial point that this is a waste of time. You just got suckered into it. This is the problem. This is why we can't escape this stupid conversation.
The funny thing is, now, just having the job at Sirius, I've board opped a couple of shows for NBA. Now, you have a call screener. So the call screener types up what they're going to be talking about. So
they don't have to take the call.
They don't have to take the call. And they take it anyway. I think it's just
because they're not stupid and they know that it's a hot topic.
Exactly.
But they're not.
It's the way to get callers.
That's what bothers me. That's how they got it wrong. They know how they really feel, but they're saying, you know what? Whatever. Let's ride the hot hand and do what people are talking about. It's like It's like talking about a Kardashian on the news. Like, it's not news. Nobody cares. Oh, but the ratings are good.
Yeah.
Get her ass on the TV. Put her right up there.
It's the same. Look at LeVar Ball. I mean, I can't even tell you how many times every time I saw him on the TV, I had to turn it off. But everybody had to put him on their show because he was a hot topic. He said something idiotic, and it was
how
everywhere.
Trump won presidency. This whole subject.
Yes.
Marketing of
absolutely
ridiculous. Everyone had an opinion, whether it was good or bad.
Yeah.
So he was consumed.
Yeah. So your next one was the
yes, my next one was sort of on that same topic that we were just talking about with Jacob deGrom, where, oh, this Mets-Yankees trade will never happen. And he goes, hey, Michael, I got a trade for you. What if the Yankees had Andujar and blah, blah. And then he lets him go. Just don't do
Take
it.
The call.
It's not going to happen.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen. Just because you want it to doesn't mean it will. This is the poisonous problem with New York. This is the problem with New York. All these rumors start, all this gossip starts, and everybody starts to believe it like it's the biblical truth, and they can destroy a person. Jacob deGrom is a human being that has feelings, and he's pitching fine, and it's not bothering him. But do we even think for a second that this is necessarily good for Jacob deGrom? He doesn't deserve all this crap. The guy's pitching he's the best thing we have.
Yeah.
Just stop
listen,
it.
I am all for everything. I think they absolutely got it wrong. You got it right. Where they got it wrong. Mm-hmm. Now, we were going to start off with this segment. We were going to just do radio. But then I figured, why do just radio? Let's just do all of sports media.
Yeah, everyone's wrong a lot. So.
Yeah. So now I normally like Mike Greenberg. I loved Mike and Mike. That I listened to it every morning. His show now, Get Up, is not really hitting the ratings that they would hope. So I was hearing different things about it. I think it's pretty interesting. I think they could probably have a better, panel that they have. But he said something outrageous the other day. And it was actually before the finals started. So it was leading up to the NBA Finals. This is what Mike Greenberg had to say. Okay, I don't have the clip for some reason.
Oh, no.
It's not playing for some odd reason. So basically what he said was that this matchup, the Warriors and the Cavaliers, are the best rivalry in all of sports.
Like ever or right now?
Ever. He's saying ever. I wish, like, I'd have to see if I can get the clip up. But, I mean, just, he's saying ever. And then he brought up...
Did anyone challenge him when he said that?
No one really challenged him, no. And, like, that was the thing. Like, I laughed. When I heard it, I was like, are you serious that he's really talking about this? Like, I don't know how, because then he brought up, he was like, oh, well, the Yankees and the Red Sox, and then, like, he was bringing up valid points when you're talking about it, but you can't pick.
Even on the subject of NBA Finals alone, Lakers Celtics, that's a better one there. Done.
Absolutely.
Like, and conversation over.
Even that, he was like, well, they didn't play each other, consecutively like this, blah, blah, blah. Like, I was like, this is
no, he's wrong, because think about the Lakers Celtics of the past with Will Chamberlain and Bill Russell. They played each other every year.
I figured out what I did wrong, so I have the clip now.
Play it.
All right.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, say it along with me. What we are going to witness tomorrow night is the renewal of the greatest rivalry in the history of American sports. What? That is not an opinion. That is an undeniable fact in at least one way. No two teams in any sport have ever met to decide the title in 4 straight seasons. If that doesn't define a rivalry, I ask you what in the world possibly could. Okay. As of this week, the Cavaliers and Warriors will have met more times than the Celtics and Lakers did in the entire 80s. Magic and Larry essentially created March Madness in 1979, but then they played 3 finals in 4 years as pros, and that was it. You want to go to football? The most common Super Bowl matchup in history is Cowboys-Steelers.
What about that rivalry?
They've met a total of 3 times and never consecutively. The last time NFL teams played for the title 3 years in a row, it was the Lions and the Browns, for crying out loud. So you know it was forever ago. It was so long, in fact, Bobby Lane wasn't wearing a face mask. The Canadiens and Red Wings are hockey's only trilogy. They haven't met in 3 straight Cup finals since the 50s. The goalies weren't wearing face masks. In baseball, the Yankees and Giants haven't met in 3 straight World Series since 1921 to 23. In the last of those, Lou Gehrig was a rookie. This stuff just doesn't happen often. Even individual rivalries never make it this far. Federer and Nadal, they met in 3 straight Wimbledon
I don't care
finals.
about tennis.
Everett and Navratilova, 3 straight years at the French. And, of course, there never was an Ali Frazier 4. So everybody sit back, relax, and enjoy for however long this series lasts. Because it is something that no American sports fan has ever seen before.
So now I understand where he's coming at. He has valid points, but... The fact that the last 2 finals have gone 8-1 Warriors, I mean, how can you even? And I understand the Cavs won 1, but this is 3 now that the Warriors won out of the 4, and I mean, out of the 4 games, the 4 series, the Cavs have won what, maybe 7. So it's like,
and I'll answer his question. At the very beginning, he says, if that doesn't define a rivalry, what does? Well, I'll tell you what does. Hatred.
Yes.
Teams that loathe each other, cheap shot each other, kick each other while they're down.
Lakers, Celtics.
and will bleed to beat them. Now, you may have had a little teensy bit of hatred with the Draymond Green and LeBron James stuff.
Yeah.
That's it. LeBron James and Steph Curry are like friends.
Yeah.
This is not a rivalry.
Well, that was the other thing. If I had more time, I had a clip that instead of it basically being the opposite of where they got it wrong and say where they got it right, Steven Jackson mentioned that these players they want to see their opponents, they want to see them succeed. They want to see everybody succeed. They don't hate each other, as you were saying. So I'll play that clip next week, and we'll discuss that as well. But we're running out of time now. that's going to do it for the show.
Yeah.
I think everything went well. We could figure out some kinks here and there, but that's going to happen on the first try. Now that we're doing it this way, you could do it every week, right? I mean, the only reason why we were saying it was because of the ride, right? Or, Well,
I could probably make it work. Like Monday, I could do Mondays, but the 18th I'm good, which is a week from today, and then the 25th I'll be in Colorado for the whole week. So that'll be a tough one. But after that, and we'll see where we are after that. How's that sound?
Yeah,
I'll see you next
perfect.
week though.
Yeah, definitely. So that will do it. It was exciting. We did it for the first time. It's going to be a norm now. So I'm excited for that. But that will do it. I'm Jerry.
I'm Anthony. Well, sorry, you surprised me.
Be breezy.
Be breezy.
And it is all over!
You've been listening to Running Up the Score.
We run up the score on Sports Radio.